Hey guys, Stu Hawk with Beer Freaks here to have another horror happy hour just with you. And today we're going to talk about Jim Jones and the Jonestown Massacre, or suicide would actually be more accurate. I'm drinking a little bit of Dogfish Head 60-minute IPA, which you can't fucking go wrong with. So let's talk about this. You know, you could drink a few of them. I do. Anyway, so the Jonestown Massacre happened in November 18th, 1978, actually in South America. However, at the time, it was the largest non-nature caused mass American death in history up until September 11th. And what it was actually a man named Jim Jones, who was a church man, a religious man, who started in California, born in Indianapolis, but moved to California, San Francisco specifically, created this sector of a religion within Christianity, and actually did a lot of good works. Did good works for the homeless. Was really, and this was back originally in the late 50s and early 60s. He was anti-segregation. He wanted all races and all kinds of people to be together. He didn't think that it was fair for segregation to be in existence. And so at the time, it seemed like he was a great guy, great man. But then some rumors started swirling about him skimming some funds off the top, making a little bit of extra money, and even some physical abuses that were happening. And so he moved himself and his entire religious sect down to South America, to an apropos place called Jonestown, presumably named after him. It was a commune where ultimately about 1,000 people lived, who were a part of his cult, which is what we'll call it now, where they lived together peacefully. And a lot of the people actually who survived this massacre may be the wrong term, but who survived this massacre say that, it was a lot of really peaceful people who were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. And but then again, rumors continued to swirl, physical abuses, some scandals, some weird things that were happening. And basically, a reporter and a congressman went down to Jonestown to do an unofficial interview. And before they were able to get on their flight back to America, they were shot and killed. At least a few of them were killed. Some of them were just injured and they didn't wind up dying. But clearly something was going wrong. And so the next day, I think it was November 17th, Jim Jones called for his entire cult to take into effect something that they'd already practiced, which was this mass suicide. And so they went ahead and enacted it on November 18th, killing over 900 people, drinking the punch, drinking the Kool-Aid, which is I think where that term comes from, drinking punch filled with cyanide. So over 900 people committed suicide. And some died of gunshot wounds, presumably suicide. I mean, obviously it's not all for sure. Jim Jones included, apparently didn't even drink his own punch, but he did die of a gunshot wound to the head. So crazy to think about. And I think the crazy thing here is to think what would cause that many people to make that kind of a decision, to make the ultimate decision. It's spooky to think about someone who is so charismatic, someone who used to be a good person, who helped the homeless, who helped, desegregate America, to then turn and have almost 1,000 people kill themselves and their kids. It's absolutely astonishing. So, boy, oh boy, that's wild stuff. But, hopefully it's nothing that we ever see again. But we also have to ask ourselves, why would someone go ahead and do something like that? We got to ask ourselves, why would a group of people decide to follow this leader into death and think that that was the right move? Because it's not just this crazy thing. People do that kind of thing all the time. You think about the Nazis who followed Hitler into this war that was clearly just terrible and had the wrong ideals. So it's not just specific to this. Weird things happen like that all the time. If you have a courageous leader, an interesting leader, spooky things can happen. So that's today's Horror Happy Hour. The Jonestown Massacre, almost 41 years ago to the day. Hopefully we never see anything like that again. This is Beer Freaks, drinking some Dogfish Head 60-minute IPA to hopefully forget a little bit about that massacre. Over and out, folks.
And this is my podcast. Yeah, this is my podcast. This is my